All right, let's talk about N8. Now, if you're in the tech world, you've probably heard of it. It's a tool that's made some serious waves in workflow automation. But this isn't going to be just another product review. We're going to dig deeper. We're looking at N8 as a company at a huge, critical turning point, like a powerful engine sitting right at a fork in the road.
And that brings us to the big question, right? The one we're really trying to answer here. Is n8n's simply a Zapier killer for developers, a more powerful, flexible alternative? Or is it secretly transforming into something completely different, something like a foundational platform for the next generation of AI? So here it is. Here's our thesis for today's teardown. We believe n8n is making a massive, high-stakes pivot to become an AI orchestration powerhouse. But, and this is a huge but, that very move is sparking this intense internal conflict. It's a three-way tug-of-war between its identity as a low-code tool, the reality of its core architecture, and its pretty controversial licensing model. We're going to unpack all of it.
Okay, so to really understand where n8n is going, we've got to look at where it came from. We need to rewind the clock a bit, back to around 2019, when the automation market was creating a huge headache for developers.
So picture this, it's 2019. The automation world is basically run by two giants. You've got Zapier, which is incredibly simple, point-and-click easy for marketers and non-tech folks. Then you have Make, which used to be Integromat, offering a more visual, flexible canvas. They were great for what they did, but they both had two big problems for developers. They were cloud-only, and their pricing models punished you for building anything complex.
And this created three major points of friction. First, the pricing was just prohibitive. You're paying per task, so a powerful, high-volume workflow could cost a fortune really fast. Second, you'd hit this logic ceiling. There was only so much complexity you could build before the tool just couldn't handle it. And finally, the big one, data sovereignty. Being cloud-only was a complete non-starter for anyone in finance, healthcare, you name it.
And this is where Jan Oberhauser, n8n's founder, comes into the story. His background is in visual effects, so he knows a thing or two about complex digital pipelines. He kept running into what he called the half-day problem, where all his time was sucked up by boring, boilerplate stuff like handling credentials and errors, not the actual creative work. He knew there had to be a better way.
And that better way was n8n. He built it from the ground up on three core principles, three pillars, designed specifically to fix that developer's dilemma. Pillar number one, a node-based architecture. So instead of a simple linear to-do list like Zapier, n8n gives you this visual canvas. It's like a flowchart on steroids. You can build these incredibly complex workflows with branching logic and loops. You never hit that logic ceiling because, and this is the best part, if a node can't do what you want, you just drop into code. It's the ultimate escape hatch.
Okay, pillar number two is where things get a little spicier. It's the fair code philosophy. This isn't your standard open source license. The deal is you can use the source code for free, self-host it, do whatever you want with it internally, but you can't just slap a new logo on it and sell it as a service. It was a really strategic move to keep the big cloud companies from just eating their lunch. And all of that is built on the foundation of pillar number three. You can host it yourself. This is the real game changer. It instantly solves those two huge problems. You get complete control over your data, which handles the sovereignty issue, and the cost? Well, it's just your server costs. You aren't paying per task anymore. This totally changes the economics of automation at scale. So did this whole approach work? Oh yeah, big time. Just take a look at Vodafone UK. They used a self-hosted n8n to automate security and compliance work. The result? They saved £2.2 million. Let me say that again, £2.2 million. That's over 5,000 person days of manual work just gone. That's the kind of mission-critical stuff that was just impossible with the old tools. But here's the twist in the story. All of this success has put n8n in a really fascinating but really tough spot. It's now caught in what you might call a strategic vice, squeezed between the world of no-code simplicity and the world of pro-code power. So on one side of that vice, you've got the 800-pound gorilla, Zapier. Now, n8n is way, way more powerful and flexible, no doubt about it. But all that power comes with a complexity tax. To really use n8n, you got to understand things like JSON and APIs, and that learning curve, well, it keeps the huge mass market of non-technical users away. Then, on the other side of the vice, you have these new hyper-developer-focused tools popping up, like Windmill. And the difference in philosophy is everything. For n8n, code is the escape hatch. It's plan B.
For a tool like Windmill, code is plan A. It's the core of everything. That, plus a more permissive open source license, makes it really attractive to hardcore developers.
This squeeze gets even tighter when you have to scale. We're calling this the Scalability Gauntlet. I mean, getting started with n8n is super easy, a single little instance. But taking that to production grade, handling tons of traffic, whoa, that is a whole different ballgame. You have to migrate your database, then you have to graduate to this thing called Q mode with Kubernetes and Redis. It's a huge leap in complexity that takes serious DevOps expertise.
And that technical barrier brings that licensing issue right back into the spotlight. That fair code license, the thing that was meant to protect n8n, well, it might be having the opposite effect. It creates just enough legal gray area that it can scare off the very agencies and developers who could build businesses around helping people get through that scalability gauntlet. It's a real dilemma.
So, how does n8n break free from this strategic vice? The answer is right here on this timeline. For years, they were steadily building out an enterprise-ready platform. But then, look at late 2023, a deep integration with LangChain. That wasn't just another feature, that was the signal, that was the pivot, the strategic bet on the next frontier, AI.
And that brings us to the climax of this whole story, n8's AI orchestration gambit. This is their high-stakes bet to redefine the entire company, to become not just a workflow tool, but the essential engine for the age of AI. And look, this is not just marketing talk. The proof is in the product. In an incredibly short period, n8n has shipped a whole arsenal of AI tools. We're talking native nodes for OpenAI, Anthropic, all the big ones. Integrations for vector stores to do RAG, which is just a fancy way of saying you can let an AI learn from your private company documents. But the absolute showstopper, the AI agent nodes. These are built specifically to manage teams of AIs working together. It is an aggressive, undeniable pivot. So where does this road lead? Well, we can speculate. Phase 1, which is happening right now, is about making those AI agents smarter and more capable. Phase 2, probably in the next year or two, will be about enterprise control, governance, cost controls, the boring but essential stuff. But Phase 3, that's the real game changer. The evolution into an agentic operating system. Think of it like a central nervous system for a company's digital workforce, a team of autonomous AI employees.
So, this is where it all comes together. n8n has this incredibly powerful engine, and now it has a bold new map pointing directly at the future of AI. But to get there, it has to navigate all the conflicts we talked about, its low-code past, its architectural challenges at scale, and that restrictive license. So the question is, can n8n successfully pave this new path, or will it find itself stranded at the very crossroads it worked so hard to create?